peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Conflicts in Africa have become the daily occurrence. Daily occurrences in many countries, in the sense that almost every African country, apart from the few, there is tension. One wonders where this tension at times comes from. Some of it comes from elections, a manufactured election, a disputed election results. Some come from territory. Some are terrorist-based, like that of Somalia and Boko Haram. Some are because of regime change, purely sponsored by external forces. But 95 to 96% of conflicts in Africa occur through the sponsorship of external darker forces that would like to benefit out of the spoils of war. George Soros stands as one person who has always been and will always be and shall be until the end a man who sponsors any type of chaos, who does not follow which type of chaos he is sponsoring, as long as it is chaos that can topple a person he hates in Africa. Many African countries are undergoing this pressure, this tension, especially those that are conducting elections and whose timetable for elections seem to be coming in the near future. As a result of that, Africa stands warned, and Africa must stand on alert about the external forces that want to dismember this continent and create heavens of war, create insecurity, create mirage peace that Africans have fought after 66 years of gaining political independence. It is therefore my submission that most African countries, if they don't look at what George Soros is doing, we might have a shocker one morning, one by one African country being pushed out and the leaders being pushed out of power. The events therefore in South Africa, as proved from these detailed undercover operations, they prove that George Soros indeed has a say in South African politics. And therefore, we want to urge Africans and African heads of state and their military and intelligence systems to be careful and watch on the amount of money that is being pumped into their economies, because some of the money could be George Soros money that will end up to bring public disorder in most of the African countries. Thank you very much, viewers.
Good morning to you, and glad that you found time to be with us today. This is Good Morning Africa, a show that places a special spotlight on matters that is happening in the continent and particularly in Kenya, because I'll take you through the three leading newspapers here in the country, the Standard newspaper, the Daily Nation, and also the Star. And then after that, we should just jump into our topic of the day, and that is, I think, continuing from where we talked about it yesterday, is ban on donor-induced democratization, the answer to Kenya's divisive election. So through a story that was carried out on the Sunday Nation there, that said the government now has banned any donor funding on our election. And so apparently everything that, has been happening in our electoral process has been funded from outside. So what are some of the dangers? Because from that story that we were reading, a few revelations really must have, rose quite a concern for the government, because a lot of countries, when they come in and they want to purchase some of these electoral equipment and tools, then they are the ones who decide where you have to purchase that and who is going to sell it to you and which firm you'll do business with. And so a lot of times this money goes back to those countries. And also when people are funding elections, they would think that they have a say, and so you really have to toe certain lines. So does that affect democracy in a country and the influence from outside? So we shall be looking at that once we are done with looking at the newspaper this morning. Lilia Dicheva, thank you so much. Machuki Danley, thank you for joining. Amechi, thank you. And of course, Douglas Bundi Kerimi, you're watching. Thank you so much for your time this morning. So it's just a few minutes past 9 a.m. here in Nairobi. A beautiful morning, a bit chilly, depending on where you are, but nevertheless, it's quite a beautiful morning. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and I will be joined by the panelists very soon. But before they get here, let's just start with the statistics this morning. And Kenya has recorded 70,804 cases. The death toll in the country is 1,287. We are looking at the COVID statistics, and the recoveries is 46,244 cases. Uganda, also the numbers have continued to go up at 16,257. The death toll in Uganda has reached 150 cases, and recoveries there is 8,170. And we go to South Africa, still the leading country here in the continent in terms of the number of infections and also deaths. Right now standing at 752,000 cases, 269. The death toll is 20,314, and recoveries is 695,496 cases. And let's just leave the rest alone and perhaps look at the total cases in Africa this morning, standing at 1,714,221 cases, and the number of deaths here in the continent is 51,900. Recoveries is 1,375,001, and the global statistics have topped 55.3 million, and the global deaths have topped 1.3 million cases, and the recoveries are over 38.4 million cases. So that is where we are in terms of COVID-19. And of course, COVID-19 is a great concern here in Kenya. Thank God the heightened political activities that really draw a lot of crowds have been put to a stop. And so right now, if anybody wants to hold a public meeting, then it has to be in a controlled environment where you can control the number of people who can attend that meeting inside a hall of some sort. So I think that will go in a long way in trying to curb the spread of COVID-19. Even having said that, still you see Kenyans around the streets not really adhering to these measures. Yes, they have the masks, they're still wearing the masks the wrong way, and people have their masks in their pocket until they see a police officer. That's when they pull it out, or when they want to conversate or talk, they pull down their masks so that they're able to talk. That is the time you should be having a mask on your face. So I just don't understand, but those are just some of the things that Kenyans need to know, that it's for your own good. I don't know how many times you have to keep talking about this, but I guess we have to because the figures continue to go up, even as the Education Ministry released a possible reopening of the school next year. Professor Magoha yesterday released the school calendar. So that is subject, I think, to change depending on how well we shall have managed COVID-19. If not, then, we will not throw our children in the line of danger there. So that is subject to, how we shall do in terms of the confirmed cases here in the country. Douglas, you're saying we can't allow that man to corrupt our country. Which man are you talking about now? All right, thank you. Continue chatting with me right on the comment section, and I shall be reading your comments as we proceed with the show. All right, very well. So let's just get. I'm joined by Chevan Karanja from Nanyuki. Not Nanyuki, but Douglas. Good morning. Not Douglas, but Chevan Karanja. Good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning to our viewers, and thank you.
You're from Nanyuki, right? Not Nyahururu. I don't know why I have. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, from Nanyuki. I was right. I don't know why I have Nyahururu in my head. It's quite different places there. Good morning.
But they're in the same counties, but maybe that is why you're making the confusion.
All right. Very well. So the rest shall join us. So, of course, we start with the Daily Nation there. The front page says, race to save the lost year. Scheduled in the complicated arithmetic of saving Kenya's education sector from the ravages of coronavirus. Primary and secondary school learners face 2 years of a brutal yet important crash program. And, of course, noted 8 a crash program to cover 2021 and 2022 school calendars, a plan designed to ensure none of the learners repeats classes, grade 4 pupils to have 4-month break early next year, and all learners to report back to school on January 4th next year. Karanja, I think this will be subject to how well we've managed COVID-19. I'm sure this might change depending on the figures, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think the Ministry of Health, they were asked by the president to do it in the course of the 2 weeks. I think that time they were supposed to go and have a consultations meeting, to go and have some forums so that they can discuss with all the stakeholders to understand what really is happening. But Miriam, as it is said now, the reopening of the school is at the masses of the COVID-19. If the number will reduce drastically and we flatten the curve, then I see the school reopening on the same schedule. But if the numbers will continue rising, and if Kenyans will not continue observing the guidelines and the protocols given by the Ministry of Health, I don't see much happening in terms of reopening the school. I think the honorary grades that have reopened the school, we will continue with the first term, and after finishing, maybe that is when others will reopen. But Miriam, we are optimistic. We are hopeful that the numbers will decrease. And that is our hope, that the school will be reopened in January, because Miriam, a whole year is almost gone, and we don't want to waste any more year with our students at home, because at the end of the day, some of them might not return back to school, may not reopen the school because of the kind of the challenges that are here. I understand some of the young boys and girls, they have started doing these cheap labors, and at the end of the day, if they have that taste of money, they might find it difficult to go back to school. You see some of our girls are getting pregnant day in and out. These are kind of indications of the dangers of our students are exposed to, because at the end of the day, the parents are busy looking for the daily bread. These students are at home. They're just mingling around and doing all manner of dramas. Therefore, it's better if they reopen the school. But the best thing to do is to keep observing the protocols so that this disease will not increase, but the rest will decrease, and that is our hope. As a country and as a whole globe.
All right, and that is our prayer too, that the figures and the numbers cannot go down unless Kenyans really work together and with the government in this regard, so that they're able to do their part, and that is to ensure that they're following these protocols that have been put in place to ensure that they're safe. All right, very well. So on the side, they are still on the Daily Nation front pages. Tuju, we want Uhuru at helm of Jubilee after 2022. In an exclusive interview, Jubilee Party Secretary reveals why the leadership of the ruling party might not change anytime soon, but not everyone is clapping on. Why do you think not everyone might be clapping for Tuju's, idea there of President Uhuru Kenyatta still remaining as the chairperson of the Jubilee Party even after 2022 elections?
And I think that will contradict issues, especially for the people who support the deputy president, because what we understand is that the president was supposed to complete his term and go home. And I think he could have left the party to other organs to manage under the neck of the party and those other organizing committees and so on, to come up and have a party leader who then will take over from the president. But if he says the president will not leave the office, then we might also see the president not leaving the politics of this country, and we might see him even in the active politics, if that is what, if I read the statement of Raphael Tuju from a different dispensation, because you cannot tell us that the president is not going to be, we continue being the party leader. If you continue to be the party leader, you'll continue engaging in the party politics, and the party politics is what shapes the national politics. Therefore, this kind of statement, maybe it's the people who support, and I think the people who not get this right are the people who support the deputy president. Maybe this is a strategy, Miriam, to force these people who feel like they are dissatisfied with the Jubilee Party to decamp and they move out, so that they can go and find their own political vehicle that they might use to clinch power in 2022. I think these are just rhetorics to ensure that they think he has a targeted audience that he is giving that message, but not the whole Kenyan.
All right, very well. And whatever happened to Jubilee Asili, I don't know. Do you have any information on what has been happening at Jubilee Asili House there? I have no idea. But down there, also Tuju says, I don't talk for him, that is president. So that means Tuju was just expressing his own personal opinion. But I want to state that there is consensus, especially from those of us holding senior positions in the party, that the party still needs his passion to bring this country together. So that is what Tuju said as the Secretary General of Jubilee Party. So that is what he said, but he's saying that is his own opinion, and that is not what President Kenyatta said. So let's just see how that will be received with the rest of the Jubilee Party members. Somewhere down there, down on the Daily Nation. No, thank you, Sam. Addis rejects Museveni's offer to mediation as Tigray crisis escalates. And maybe today, later on, we shall be looking at what is happening there in Ethiopia. And Ethiopia has refused President Museveni's, help in helping to mediate in the crisis between Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed government and Tigray front there. There has been a lot of chaos going on there, the conflict that has continued for days now, rather weeks. They went ahead and voted, even as the government had said, because of COVID-19, the voting, the elections will not take place. So they went and they voted. It's a lot of stories. We cannot get into that right now, but perhaps later on in the afternoon we shall look at that. I don't know, I'm just curious. What do you think Ethiopia refused President Museveni's help to go and mediate? Because we know Uganda has been accused to be partisan when it comes to the mediation process and what has been happening there in South Sudan. So maybe Abiy thought this is an internal matter where they could just solve it between his government and the people of the Tigray region. Or why do you think Abiy refused Museveni's help in this regard?
Maybe, Miriam, if we had a kind of a vibrant or something that is up to the task in terms of Africa Union, these are the people who should be expected to bring harmony in those disagreements, conflicting sides. But I think Museveni, and I think the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, maybe he feels like Museveni is not the right person to go and bring peace there, because when you look at his country right now, the kind of intimidation that is happening to the opposition leaders, the kind of intimidation that is happening to the people of Uganda as they express their voice in terms of the ongoing campaigns, you see the kind of intimidation. Therefore, this is a person who his country is not that peaceful. Therefore, he might not be the best person to talk of arranging other people's house, because Miriam, even a family, when you have an issue with the spouses have issues, they look for stable spouses to come and they mediate on their behalf. They don't look for another divorcee and other people who are breaking their marriage to come and save their marriage. I think these are the kind of scenario that is my personal reserved opinion, that maybe the Prime Minister of Ethiopia thought towards the President of Uganda, Museveni.
Perhaps when Museveni comes in the picture, that might change the matrix there. And all right, very well. So as I said, we shall look at that story later on in the afternoon. And this is something that we've been following, and it is a great concern because we know an instability in one country in the region might mean and might affect the rest of the countries. So the more stable the rest of our neighbors are, the better for all of us. All right. Okay, very well. So now we go to the Star newspaper, and on the front pages there of the Star newspaper says BBI inside plan to give counties more roles with extra devolved cash. There are fears national government could be cash strapped. All right. So let's just go and see that story on page 6 of the Star newspaper and find out what really it says there. The national government is planning to devolve more functions to the counties if the Building Bridges Initiative recommendations are approved in a referendum. The Star has established that there are plans to revisit the fourth schedule of the Constitution and agree on more functions to be handed over. The talks are being spearheaded by the Minister of Devolution and the Office of the President in consultation with the Council of Governors. The BBI task force has recommended a radical increase in resources to the counties, a situation that could leave the national government overburdened and cash-strapped. The report has proposed that at least 35% of the national revenue be given to the counties from the current minimum 15%. So whatever the governors has been saying, let the functions be followed with the money. So now the government, I think, after looking at perhaps the chunk of money they'll be giving to the counties, they're saying that might affect a lot of these functions it's been carrying out as a national government. So now they're working in consultation with the Council of Governors and the Ministry of Devolution to see how some of these functions could be passed over to the counties so that the functions now are able to match the money. Will that work?
Yeah, Miriam, we need to follow these functions with the amount of money that is given to the counties, because at the end of the day, we need to see where this money is going. And if there is no clear definition of the functions of the county of the county government, then we may end up with this money heading to the pockets of the few individuals and the members of the county assemblies. Therefore, what the government is trying to say might be correct, because at the end of the day, the people of Kenya want service delivered, whether from the national government or from the county government. At the end of the day, these are Kenyans who surface these money. These are Kenyan taxes. Therefore, they want to see how these functions done. And Miriam, last week, but one, we were talking of the kind of functions, and there is overlapping of our functions, because as you look for the Minister of Agriculture, we have a lot of things that they have the Minister of Agriculture that is left with a lot of money in their offices in Nairobi, but a small amount is devolved to the county unit, and you find that agriculture is a devolved function. Look at the health. We have these health facilities. Maybe we don't have enough money. Therefore, I think, Miriam, not only these functions going to the county government, we need to have a clear definition so that we distinct and we have kind of distinguishing factors between the functions of the county government and the functions of the national government, so that at the end of the day, Kenyans will be able to know who to hold responsible for the maybe mischievous and all miscellaneous wastage of national resources. Because at the end of the day, like with this issue of health, you look at when COVID-19 came, there was a lot of confusion. Some governors, they don't know their role. They don't know what they are supposed to do with the amount they are given. And they went on buying burial lands. And you could see this kind of confusion. Therefore, we need to have, and I think even in the BBI, even they are talking of it, they can have a very clear, if the function is devolved to the county government, let it be there fully, 100%, so that the people of that county, they can benefit fully when they have maybe like the agriculture and health in their counties, and that they have a lot of money, because at the end of the day, the county government will be able to service the hospitals, to ensure that the Minister of Agriculture is running well, to ensure that we have these extension officers. Miriam, I understand some counties, they don't have even these officers because they will not be able to pay them. Therefore, with the increase of the amount and the amount that they collect from their respective counties, I think they should also be followed with a sense of accountability and responsibility.
All right, very well. Thank you so much, Jevan Karanja, and we're joined by Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam Chavan and our viewers.
All right, thank you for joining us. So we were just looking at the papers. We've looked at our first paper there, the Daily Nation. So now we are on the Star newspaper, and there has been a consultation from what we are reading here, spearheaded by the Ministry of Devolution and the Office of the President in consultation with the Council of Governors. Owing to the money that has been increased that will be going to the counties, the national government now might have a problem in meeting its obligations. So it's saying, now that, there has been a maxim from, the governors there that, functions should be followed by money. So now the government is saying, well, we've given you more money. So now some of these functions that has been carried out by the national government might have to be devolved. And that is something that they're working on. So are we likely to see some fighting? Because the governors were quite happy. Now they'll have more money to spend. But now that will be followed by some other functions that will be perhaps added onto that money from devolved from the national government. Are we likely to see some governors fighting this? Or are we likely to see a situation where they'll start demanding for more?
Miriam, the governors have been asking for full devolution of all the functions as stipulated in the Constitution. Miriam, it goes without saying that if some of the functions have been done by the national government, and if the more money is going to be given to the county government, then it goes without saying that those functions have to go that way, Miriam. And remember, Miriam, devolution has been let's say a case study. It was something new. We did not know how things could be done. And that's why the national government was reluctant to fully devolve all the functions. Now that there's going to be more money going to the counties, it is now necessary for us to fully implement what the Constitution says. In fact, even the Constitution was saying that those functions could have been even devolved with 15%. Now that we are taking 30%, in fact, it's very advantageous to the county government. But you know what most of the county government did, Miriam? They overemployed. You find there somebody is an advisor to the governor, advising the governor for what? Political advisor. Huh? So many irrelevant stuff at the county level, Miriam, which takes all the chunk of the money going to the counties. So they have to deal with their human source if we have to see end development, Miriam, at the counties.
All right, very well. Well, on page 7 of the Star newspaper there, angry Sonko dares Uhuru as he vows to block cash to buy the team. Paralysis is looming in Nairobi after embattled Governor Mike Sonko vowed to deny funds to President Uhuru Kenyatta's backed Nairobi Metropolitan Services. In an all-out attack on NMS that reveals the vicious battle for the control of the city's billions, Sonko said he was ready to brave the intimidation, blackmail and orders from above to release cash to an amorphous body. In the dark days are over, that is what Sonko said. We will not allow anybody to breach the law. Personally, going forward, I will not allow any intimidation from anyone, Sonko said. Now, Sonko claimed that NMS formed by the president to execute 4 broad county functions, the governor signed away to the national government in February, is an illegal and amorphous outfit that does not exist in the constitution and all laws in the land. The county chief claimed that he has been the subject of impeachment threats and even jail from State House operatives wherever he differs with orders from above. So now the governor's declaration, which could widen the cracking rifts between him and Uhuru, comes barely 2 weeks after Treasury CS Ukuru Yatani declined to release money to NMS, citing lack of a legal framework. The revelations now threaten to paralyze the functionality of NMS and cripple key services to the city residents. So and we know NMS I think it has been captured in the BBI. So if BBI will be passed as it is, then Nairobi will have that special status, being the capital city and of course the financial center in Kenya. So that is why I think maybe it was thought that was important for it to have some level of management from the national government, and I would understand that. But now we've been seeing this strife between Nairobi current Governor Mike Sonko and NMS leader there, General Badi, and Sonko a lot of times have been accused of refusing to sign some monies to be allocated through some very important functionalities of the NMS, and now he's saying, I really don't care, and this has really affected delivery of very vital services here in Nairobi. Javan, what do you think should be the solution for this? Because every time we see them coming together, shaking hands, taking photos, one moment, the next moment, Sonko is all over on it again. What do you think is the problem here with Governor Mike Sonko and Badi's relationship in Nairobi leadership?
And one thing, Miriam, we must agree that Governor Mike Sonko was voted by the people of Nairobi, and to them, maybe they thought he was the best. And Miriam, this is why I say that the people of Kenya, we have a problem. We just vote for the sake of it. We don't look at the character and the integrity of the people we are voting to these offices. And you look at the character of the Mike Sonko, he was elected, now he became governor. There was an issue with him and the MCAs, and I think the president is the one who saved him from the impeachment. And so that he could not be impeached, we came up with that Nairobi Metropolitan Service, where it was headed by John Badi was to head the service, and you could see a lot of difference, because the kind of work that Sonko was doing compared to what General Badi is doing, you see these people are two different. One is more on service delivery, that is General Badi, and Mike Sonko was more in way of creating a lot of dramas, kind of things that were not even making sense to the people of Nairobi. And I understand there was a lot of complaints from the people and the residents of Nairobi that the governor is not referring to the promises that he made to the people of Nairobi. And I think that is when the government thought it's good to intervene, because this is the capital city. These are cities that host a lot of offices from the United Nations and so on, and a lot of embassies. And I thought it was wise for the president to come and intervene and bring that kind of a solution, so that at the end of the day, service to the people of Nairobi will be delivered. And that is when they came up with that outfit of NMS. And Miriam, as you see, the kind of work done is I think that is what is giving the governor a lot of headaches, because he is seeing like this man is outshining him. He is becoming more smart day in and out. The city is being organized, is looking like of any other city in the big countries. And I think that is the problem that Mike Sonko have with General Badi, because at the end of the day, General Badi is outsmarting him. He is delivering service to the people of Nairobi. And I think the MCAs, and I feel the rumor says that the MCA are in thought of impeaching the governor. And I think that would be the prudent thing to do at the moment, because we cannot have two powers controlling the Nairobi government. And I think it is high time that all the responsibilities of the county government of Nairobi are given to NMS, so that maybe the Sonko can go and relax and can have ample time to fight the government of the day, to fight the president, to fight the state house. I think he should be relegated to where he deserves, because at the end of the day, we need service delivered. I think the solution to all these kind of problems is to make General Badi, to make him to be more powerful, to make him the center of power, and Mr. Sonko to be taken where he belongs, because at the end of the day, the people of Nairobi, they don't want to know who is the leader. They want service, they want good roads, they want all that congestion and the traffic to be solved out. Therefore, that is the solution, I think, moving forward. And I think, Miriam, the president, and I saw the other day, Mike Sonko saying that he signed that agreement to share powers with the NMS when he was under influence of something. And I think it is high time we start looking at this leader's character, and we let him be impeached. I think that will save, because you saw what happened in Kiambu. The people of Kiambu now are silent, and something is being done. And I think that is the way to go when it comes to Nairobi city, because that is the city, that is the heartbeat of our nation.
I mean, Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya, the financial hub, everything you think about when it comes to development and all that here in the country. So it's very important. It's a very important city here. And so that's why even perhaps when they were looking at some of these functions of Nairobi City, maybe that's why even the crafters or the Kenyan people went ahead and suggested that Nairobi be given that special status. Sonko went to State House, and all of us, we saw in the glare of the camera him signing some of the agreement. We don't know what was part of that. We don't know what was inside there, but he signed. I'm sure he must have read through and then signed the agreement to agree to, give away part of his responsibilities to Badi, and he did that. So now what has been happening, like from where I stay, I've seen that we've been having a problem with some drainage system there for a very long time, during Kidero's time, and Sonko was the senator, and now after he's been in the office for quite some time. It is just now that I see the NMS fixing it right now. If you've driven through Park Road, you've seen he's working on that, and it's almost done, and it's beautiful, and the inroads around there, they have been fixed. So what the people of Nairobi care about, Jevan, there, as you have said, is service delivery. Some things that we want fixed, and indeed other places across the city that they had problem with water and water cartels. We've seen the NMS go fix some water points there, and Kenyans are able to access water and things that truly, truly matter to them. I don't know, Professor, what could be the solution between this conflict between Nairobi Governor and General Badi?
Miriam, yesterday nikisema niliona ulicheka. Nilisema ni heri ukuwe na nguo zimetambaa kuliko kuwa na akili imeraruka.
Oh, okay.
It is better you have tattered clothes, which sometimes Miriam, someone may give you, you may get money to buy new ones.
Then tattered
and
brain.
you will be smart. What will you have if you have got a tattered mind? What are we going to do with it? That is a disaster, Miriam. Some of these problems we are facing in Nairobi, Miriam, it is for the own making of the so-called governor. It is own making. The Constitution says, Miriam, that you get elected to office with your running mate, and they were elected with that. Then they could not work, Miriam, because of what I've basically started with. And basically, he could not appoint another governor, deputy governor.
He refused to do that for a very long time.
He refused to do that. So, Miriam, do you want more than 7 million Nairobians, Miriam, to wait to be at your mercy? And Miriam, some of the problem facing this country, Miriam, allow me to say it is the president is making.
Well,
the MCS were determined to kick this man out. They were kicking him out. We will be talking about a different story. Oh, Miriam, he called, for the sake of us working, they know just he carried the Miriam. And see now, Miriam, when you see a small snake, and you spare it thinking that it is an earthworm, it will eventually grow, become a bigger snake. It will bite you and you will die and will bury you. This is exactly what the president has done to himself. And see how Sonko is talking with no respect, with no care of respect. Miriam, okay, we can say that he is being victimized, but we saw him having protracted war with the speaker, Peter Seraj. They quarrel until the Raj has to say, okay, let it go. So he resigned. Now again, you see, he's speaking to have war with the Director General for NMS.
And Professor, even when he was the senator of Nairobi, he had a problem with the governor then. So maybe it's something to do with him.
I'm building a case. I'm building a case. When I'm giving all this one, and thank you for helping me, I'm building a case that this is a person who does not believe in teamwork. This is the person who believes it is I, it is me, it is myself. When, Miriam, you have got that kind of mentality and attitude. Miriam, let me tell you honest, I was within one of the UNEA, was it UNEA 3, UNEA 4? This guy can even hardly read a speech up to the end, and I was just looking down, oh my God. But he struggled until he reached the end. So, Miriam, is having limitation of management. There's something we cannot not do for you. Someone cannot go and do exams for you, and you acquire a degree, and you say now you have become educated and learned. And it's just an embarrassment to that university, which gave him that certificate, because if that's the kind of quality of graduates you give to the market, then the market have whatever reason to wonder and worry. You ask me what's the way forward. The constitution is very clear. The national government and the county government can enter into an arrangement. And those are the arrangements, Miriam, which they entered. He signed in broad daylight. You saw him. I saw him. Everybody saw him. The world saw him. So he's saying that he was drunk, Miriam. Even if you drink and you go to work, Miriam, that's even serious. No employee is allowed to drink during the working hours. You know that. So what we need to do, Miriam, here is a registration to be done over the factions which have been devolved, so the money can be remitted to Nairobi Metropolitan Service, so that we continue getting the services. We are seeing what the Director General is doing. He's doing an excellent work. Miriam, the one of the organization which I'm associated with, I have honored the Director General, because he's having service above self. This is having that. It's not saying that it is Miriam. See the kind of the vehicles he was able to innovate.
Yes.
Saving the government 22 million against 250 million, Miriam. Why can't you even be proud of him? Miriam, how do you prove that you can be a leader of a country? This man can be a president of the country body, because he has got the interest of the country. And remember what he has said, Miriam. This is a disciplined man. He's saying he's having only 2 years and he's going back to the barrack to protect us. So, Miriam, from where I sit, I don't want to go to the extreme that Governor Sonko should be impeached. He should be sober. And the case, and if I were him,
but judging from his history, Professor,
I would spend more time to clear my name in court.
Judging from the history, from when he was the Member of Parliament of Embakasi to now, do you think he will ever sober up, as you were saying? Are there even possibilities of that?
Miriam, as much as I want to blame Sonko, when you see the character of our leaders, that is a replica of what a society is. Yeah, that's what they elect, Miriam. Miriam, we will go. I have entered electoral politics, Miriam. I can go. I will educate people. I will tell people what I will do. In the end, people will ask you money. Governor Sonko and his right will come and tell people, you queue. He gives them money and they elect him. Now do you come and turn and start blaming the leaders who are elected? In a normal circumstance, Miriam, the rights of Governor Sonko cannot be a leader of even monkeys. Monkeys cannot allow him to be their leader.
All right.
So Miriam, you have seen the character. You will see him punching. He cannot do this one. Miriam, leadership. You don't just wake up one morning that you have been in prison and you have become a monitor in prison, and then you think you can come and lead sober people. That is prisons. Those are the people who are protected. When you become their leader, you say you come and you count. So Miriam, it's a mistake which we have done. I hope that the Nairobians have learned. But I think Miriam, the general body should be supported, Miriam, to give our services.
All right.
Indeed, this man is working.
All right, very well. Yeah, we've seen what he's been doing in my neighborhood. He's been doing great things, and so that's all we care. Because in Nairobi, there are things that, very, very, very small things compared to perhaps other countries, other counties, or other places that require so much. Or even some parts of Nairobi, like the slum areas and all that, they have a lot of things that they will like fixed, that we've seen being fixed. I think hospitals are in the whole thing, the roads and all that. But I've seen him work closer to my place there. I've seen him fix a few things, and now he's fixing the drainage that has been a problem there. So soon, everything shall be well. And Sonko's...
Miriam, hear what?
Yeah.
When the general came here within 100 days, Miriam, he has been able to dig more than 100 balls. Miriam, The water rescue, which you were seeing, Songo rescue tanks going around the city taking people the water, that is a function of the government. Now, Miriam, the government has taken over. Miriam, you cannot start supplying people with water. It must be water which is certified by the government that this water which can be drunk, people can drink. So, Miriam, from what I say that relevant registration should be made to legitimize the Nairobi Metropolitan Service, Miriam, so that we continue getting the service.
All right.
And if we go to the extreme, we cannot rule, impeachment cannot be ruled out.
All right.
I have no doubt. That's my recommendation. I've given 2 recommendations.
Solutions.
More
Yes.
registrations should be done to legitimize the factions which have been transferred, so that those factions, Miriam, are funded so that we continue getting services.
And
if he continues with this unruly behavior, then Miriam, I'm giving a recommendation that impeachment cannot be ruled out. It's becoming an eyesore to ourselves, Miriam.
And you said there he discovered his leadership skills in prison. That's what also doctor says here. But also, General Badi, while you were at it, Nairobi CBD has become very, very insecure. As a woman, I feel very unsafe walking in those streets. You see people being, there's a time General Badi was at a local television station a couple of weeks ago, and he was asked that question about the insecurity. He was not able to address it effectively. So, General Badi, maybe you don't visit the CBD often, but that is something you need to address. We have a lot of hawkers in Nairobi. There are parts of Nairobi that are really, really, really does not represent the capital city as you would like it to look at. And I understand, especially with COVID-19, a lot of people have been affected, and those hawkers and Kenyans have to eke a living, and I understand. But can we find a formula where I can be allowed to walk in the pavements? Right now, there's no space in the pavements, Professor, when you're walking in the CBD, because Kenyans are there and they're selling their wares, and they'll ask you to move over. I don't know, you walk in the middle of the road because they'll not allow you to pass, the pavements. Hawkers have had the things that they're selling, and I understand they have to make a living, but can you find a way of striking a balance? And because of that, there has been a lot of insecurity. There has been a lot of pickpocketing. You go into the supermarket, you leave. There's a time I left a supermarket just around Tomboya there, and somebody was at the door, and they really wanted to take everything that I had. Good thing I was with my brother, and my brother was like, you touch my sister, we're going to have a problem. But if I was by myself, I would have perhaps left that, because they are armed, they have knives in their pockets and all that. So insecurity in Nairobi is something serious, and General Badi, that is something that you should address with the urgency that it requires. It's very unsafe. As a woman, I don't feel safe walking in the CBD anymore. I don't feel safe, so that is something that should be addressed.
Miriam, I have been privileged to go to quite a number of cities in the world, be it New York, be it London, be it Vienna, quite a number of cities, Miriam. I have seen how cities are run. I've even been to Shanghai, Miriam. This hawking is not a problem, Miriam. These are Kenyans who are making a living.
Yes.
They have found what we need, what they have to do, Miriam. I have, there was some time, Miriam, if you can remember, when Maitha was the minister for local government, with his limited education, Miriam, but he had been there, a councillor, he has risen the rank until he became the minister, Miriam. He became very clear on how he wanted to organize the cities, Miriam. Even these smoking zones, Miriam, where people used to smoke everywhere, he's the one who came up with them, Miriam. So what I want to do, and this is where our MCAs and our members of parliament, Miriam, if they don't know what to do, they can ask, we can assist them for free. These are the people who have found something to do. Tell them on how to do it.
And where to do it.
And where to do it. That is their responsibility, Miriam. I've given a recommendation, Miriam, once in a week. Do you know in the rural areas, Miriam, people go to the market some designated days, and the people do business. They take their goods, their things, if it is a Monday, if it is a Thursday, whichever in the country, Miriam, and they make money. So, Miriam, the government should be able to say them on Tuesday or whichever day, 2 days in a week, that all of Tom Mboya Street or Moy Avenue, from 3 to this kind of time, people can be able to serve. And they clean the city and they go. Once you reach those kind of arrangement, Miriam, I saw it in Shanghai. That's what people do. But this business, Miriam, I keep on seeing that even I see mothers with their small children, they struggle, and the children
and
go
they're
and
being chased away by those county askaris, which are
I've read this morning that the border have said that they are going to move away from the city center so that they decongest our city, Miriam. Miriam, if we engage these people, Miriam, and we show them where to work, they can work. Miriam, we came with Muthurwa to decongest the city. Do you know what happened? Some of those okas who were given, they rented those ones and they came back to the street. So, Miriam, we should come with stiff penalties to show them, Miriam, this is where you do your business. You don't come to the city. And it is implemented. Well, Miriam, let me tell you, when you see those okas in the city, do you know what comes in your mind? That is corruption at work. I'm telling you. Some of those okas, they give 10, 20 shillings, 50 shillings, 50 shillings, 50 shillings. See the number of them. So, Miriam, at the end of the day, there are some people who are making money out of that anarchy. Because you can see when those Boris are coming, those city askaris, the moment they come, you see those people around. So it means there's one who has communicated. These okas have employed people to be manning and seeing how those askaris are built. So, Miriam, what we need to do, let us engage our okas, let us come with laws and say this is the city, and this is how cities are arranged, Miriam. So that we don't, sometimes, Miriam, you go to the town, you are doing your business, and then they are being tear gassed, and there are some people of us who have got a health condition, and we are inconvenienced. So, Miriam, what I have done, I have got a very simple solution. Those okas have got their leaders, engage their leadership, and they will give you answers.
And also something
there's no harm, Miriam, giving them the central bank one day in a week towards the weekend, and they do it. So don't you see Mansai Market, the car park outside the Supreme Court every other Sunday?
Every Sunday.
Yeah, is it Sunday or Saturday, Miriam? You see them?
Saturday.
You see the kind of business, Miriam, they make?
At the High Court, yeah.
So, Miriam, we need to engage, and this is a conversation. Hawking is not going to go to anywhere. We are not. We have used all the thorax, all the power, and we are not succeeding. So, Miriam, as you know, as I come, I like talking to people. I like engaging people, and wherever they give you answers, that is the way to go, Miriam. Miriam, do you remember? And the Minister for Interior, and the body, they are getting this. Did you see one day the late John Michuka, may he rest in peace as we wait for the soon turn of Jesus Christ? We will meet at the feet of Jesus. Didn't you see him going to Dandora and saying, let him check his wallet? And he said, my wallet is here. And he said he wants every Kenyan to walk with security. So if security has become an issue, Miriam, when it comes to security, we cannot compromise. We can compromise on other things, but the security of Kenyans cannot be compromised. Yeah, that one, if you don't follow the law, we can take you to where you belong. And if you have got dangerous weapons, Miriam, and this way, however, I've never seen any of the human rights, although I am also one of them. When those people come with those knives and they endanger the lives of Kenyans, I have never seen any human right. Trying to say that Miriam's human rights are being violated. So, Miriam, on security, Miriam, let the Director General hear this, let the Minister for Interior hear this, that Kenyans, we cannot afford to go to those places again.
And very well. And also I've noted an increase of homeless Kenyans in the CBD. There's been a huge number of them there in the CBD. So I think this is a problem that needs to be addressed. There's a time it was effectively addressed a couple of years ago, but now we've seen the CBD, parts of it is an eyesore. And I understand, but we need to find a plan where those people who are doing legitimate businesses, they could be shown a place and they will do it in a way that they're able to also make a living, but as well as we're able to maintain the security and the smooth running of the CBD. I'm telling you, walking in the pavements is a problem. The hawkers, they don't even know that is where you're supposed to be walking. So Niwakali, you can't even step on certain places. So you're thinking, where am I supposed to be walking now? Anyway, Karanja, do you have
And
anything?
Miriam, the evolution we are talking about, that is what it was meant to cure. That's what it was meant to cure, Miriam. We want to see people when they are coming from their respective estates, Miriam. If you look at during the colonial times, Miriam, you will see some markets, Uhuru Market, Jericho Market, those kind of things, Kariako Market. So some of our leaders, there is a time we reach, Miriam, where the brain stopped thinking and becoming innovative. So even these people coming to the city, Miriam, we are supposed to have 47 counties, city counties, whereby so the Kenyans don't find the need to come to Nairobi. Miriam, like now in Kisii, I normally see people coming from all the way, they go to Kisii during the Dalachambiri market. They go and do business. People move from Nairobi here, Miriam. So this is what I expect to happen in this country. I want to see people going to Machakos to do business. I want to see people going to Kachara to do business. I want to see people to Kiambu do business. Nakuru, Naivasha, and Orova. This is how we can be able to take this country forward. And that's why you see the president is so much determined to improve infrastructure. Miriam, you see now like the rehabilitating of the railway from Nairobi to Nanyuki. I expect business to go around the corridor of the railway line.
Yeah, and Miriam, to add on that,
Yes.
I think the government of the day should wake up, and even the county government of Nairobi, so that not only in Nairobi but all in the other places, because insecurity is something that is affects everybody. Because Miriam, you cannot be able to do your business when your life is threatened. You cannot be able to do your business when somebody is looking after what you are earning and to snatch it and disappear in thin air. Therefore, the government should wake up and decongest the city. And I think by doing so, we should do it in a humanitarian way. And I think as the professor is making a recommendation that those people should be taken to designated places where they should do their business, or they have some kind of timelines and time schedules where they can go do this and sell in a specific time and day, so that we try to decongest. Because Miriam, after decongesting these towns, that is when the issue of insecurity will be saved. Because at the end of the day, there are a number of people who are not selling anything. They are not hawking. They are just idling. They are just idlers around the town. Because of this issue of congestion and so on, they find advantage to hide there, and they do their businesses of pickpocketing and threatening people's life. Miriam, you see the kind of tools that these young men use. They use knives and razor blades and nails, some funny tools, small weapons that are very dangerous, because at the end of the day, when somebody threatens with your this pocket knife, Miriam, you'll give everything, including your phones and handbags. Therefore, we need to decongest. After decongesting the city and ensuring that people are in safe places to do their businesses, that is only when we can be sure of our security. And by doing so, we need to do it in a way that will not affect anybody. And we should have even, and the Miriam in future, we should also ban these things that come to these matatus and the private vehicles that congest the city. We should have some places where they can park their cars and so on, so that the city will look organized. But as it is now, that is why is a home kind of driving environment for insecurities. And the Miriam, on the issue of homelessness, the people who come to Nairobi, you know, Miriam, there is an issue that we need to address, and this is migration, the people who come from rural areas to urban towns, thinking that is where we have honey and bread, and to their surprise, they end up finding stones and that kind of life. Therefore, we need to ensure that even other counties, they are able to make their services well. Because Miriam, if we empower agriculture, if we empower what makes Kenya earn a living, at the end of the day, these young people will not be coming to Nairobi to seek employment, because they can be able to be self-employers, they can be able to produce their crops in their farms at a low cost, and that will be they'll be able to make a good profits at the end of the day, and that will encourage them to stay in some places. Because the issue of people who are homeless in Nairobi is because of this rural urban migration, and they are coming there to seek for a daily bread. And the population, when the population grows in Nairobi and there is no space There's no place for expansion of building and so on. There's no job. There's no industries, new industries that are in place. That is why we find the issue of insecurity, homeless people, and these are dangerous people. Because Miriam, when you're hopeless, you can do anything because nothing scares you. Because you're at the end part of life, you can do anything, and that is the issue that we have. Because when you are desperate, you can take anything, and you can do anything to ensure that you survive. That is the issue that is affecting our people in Nairobi.
Very well.
And the other towns.
And very well said there, Karanja. Thank you so much. And devolution was meant to cure this migration there, but maybe it has not caught up with that part. So, General Badi, yes, I need to feel safe in the streets of Nairobi. Currently, I don't. And the rest of many Kenyans, Nairobians, I'm sure, will express the same. And I hope that your leadership here, minus the wrangles with the governor of Nairobi, might be able to ensure us that we have the security that we need. I don't have to. They've stolen my wallet before, some money and other things, and my ID before. So I've been a victim several times, and a couple of other people that I know. So that is something that needs to be addressed urgently. A general, please. So we look at our last newspaper because our time is far gone. The Standard newspaper, and of course the main story is what new school calendar means, and I think we looked at that at our first newspaper. There's the same story. So up there says Ruto host MCAs in new wave of BBI talks. The story is on page 4. And Deputy President William Ruto yesterday insisted on consensus around Building Bridges Initiative report, despite proponents of the document giving the clearest signal that Kenya is headed to a contested referendum, with the handshake partners President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga saying the report is closed and the process for the referendum is set to begin this week. The situation leaves the DP with only two options. Ruto, who from the beginning has been opposed to the report and even registered his reservations on some of the contents of the document in front of President during its launch, now has to eat humble pie and team up with the proponents of the document or lead the no camp. Those are the two choices. So when President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, the leaders of this process, come out and say that door is closed, which part of that statement do you think Deputy President William Ruto has a trouble understanding, Professor?
William, that's a very good question.
I'm not being cheeky.
What we have been saying now is coming out to reality. The Deputy President, Miriam, does not believe in PBI. He doesn't believe in the handshake. So something you don't believe in, Miriam, how do you build consensus? How? At what? You know how you start the race, determine on how you finish. If you don't go to the farm, Miriam, to grow your land and plant when others are planting, Miriam, what are you going to harvest? So, Miriam, from where I come, Miriam, from where I sit, and I am happy with some of the MCA was addressing. One of them was trying to say, if what our leaders, what they gave in is not considered, then we will oppose. But little they know that their fears have already, as specialists, has already been captured, Miriam. In aggregate, we are given a definition of what aggregate entails. So Miriam was addressing a wrong audience. But Miriam, what is that's the democracy at work? We cannot force him to support the document. Neither can he force us to accept this position, Miriam. He had the opportunity, Miriam, to do so. He did not do so. Miriam is squandered this opportunity. Miriam, the law helps the one who is awake and not the one who is sleeping. Mm-hmm. The law will be there if you don't make use of it, Miriam, too bad. Miriam, we have had this case for 32 months, 2 years, 8 months, for him to give his views. He did not believe in it. He was giving propaganda. Up to now, he has not believed Miriam, even though Ombudsman is having an issue, Miriam. We have had Kenyans, Miriam, complaining that some of the judgments given by the judges in the High Court, Miriam, is compromised. Where do Kenyans go and complain? Mm-hmm. We are having the Judicial Service Commission, Miriam, where the Chief Justice is the President for the Supreme Court. He is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Miriam. He is the Chairman for Judicial Service Commission. Miriam, even if you complain, where will you go? Mm-hmm. But now we are having this Ombudsman, Miriam, And what they are having a problem here, Miriam, is on appointment. We have seen that it is going to be appointed just like Chepkat. That's what the process is. It will be vetted by Parliament, and the president will appoint simply because he is the head of the state. I cannot appoint. I'm not the head of the state. So do you, either William, Miriam. And we don't, if we expect the judiciary to be accountable, Miriam, we do not expect the Chief Justice to appoint. So that man, he sits in the Judicial Service Commission as an ex-officio, Miriam, and he will be able to say Kenyans are having an issue with the Chief Justice. And these are some of the issues they are saying. Because he's independent, there's nothing the Chief Justice will do. Kenyans are having on this particular judgment given by this judge. He's receiving money to write to write judgment. Miriam, that's how we can be accountable, Miriam, to the people of Kenya. Talking about, Miriam, that it is an imperial president, I don't understand how it looks, but these people who are talking about consensus, Miriam, it is a right way of telling us we are opposing PPI. And I always say, when someone is telling you this, the opposite is true. So it is very unfortunate in the first history of this country, we have seen her deputy who doesn't do things the same way his boss does. And when he has got an issue, Miriam, you raise it with your boss. And if he doesn't agree, Miriam, you call it that day. You don't just come and wash that linen on the public, Miriam. There are some things, Miriam, you let them go. So you can be able to fight a better day. But Miriam, we know, is preparing for the skills on how he will be in the opposition. And we are making for him the leader for the opposition, Miriam.
All right. So yesterday when he hosted Wajir, MCAs led by Majority Leader Mohamed Gubane and his minority counterpart Abdi Hussein Ruto said a divisive referendum process could not be used to achieve a united country. We must, at the moment, prioritize the health of our people and focus on countering the effects of COVID-19. County assemblies must work together and push for progressive engagements around the BBI so that we can build a consensus on the report. They must shun a forced yes or no campaign that threatens to be retrogressive for the country, Ruto said on his Twitter handle. So we're seeing Karanja, Deputy President there, is not letting when it comes to consensus, and he's been calling on it. And we see the drafters of this BBI and the leaders of this process have come out and said that door is shut. Which part do you think is having troubles understanding in that messaging there?
I think at the end of the day, he understands the whole process, and we understand the president when we were launching the document in Bomas. He told us that he invited the deputy president, and he gave 3 of the members of the committee to the BBI steering committee and so on. Therefore, he has been a pro to the process. He understands what is happening. He just wants now to beat around the bush. And Amelia, in that statement, as you were coming to the end of that tweet, there's something you have said about him saying that people are being forced to campaign yes and to support yes or no. And I would wish to know, why were they fighting the document? Is fighting the document not part of saying we don't agree? And when you don't agree to such a document, you are saying no to it? These people have been reading the no campaign from the word go. Therefore, they should not be the one lecturing other Kenyans on what to do for the consensus. Because, Miriam, they have been fighting the document since before even it was launched to the public. And then, Miriam, they were making mockery of the document and saying that you see this document, it will not be launched, it was a fake document, just like the handshake that involves 2 people. But when the document was launched and Kenya started reading the document, that is when they have realized that we have a middle ground called consensus. This consensus, Miriam, it is not going this consensus is not coming from a willing heart, because the people who are reading this consensus are the same people who are fighting the document. Therefore, we cannot allow them to come and sabotage the document when it has already taken the momentum. The best they can do is to continue opposing the document. In simple terms, the deputy president comes, they're opposing the BBI because for them they think if their reservations with the document are not guaranteed, if they are not promised that what they have an issue with will be rectified, then that is a must. You know, they are giving these ultimatums that is a must, that we change the judiciary. What the BBI proposes take our recommendation, take what we are saying. That kind of, it's a must. That is when we cannot have an agreement, Miriam, when you are saying that your orders, your terms and conditions is what should guide the process of the consensus. He is the one who is giving the terms and conditions. This is what you are supposed to do. How will you agree with that kind of a person? People agree when they're on a neutral ground. You bring issues, they bring issues, and then you settle on the average and the middle ground, and then everybody will be satisfied. But for them, they are forcing things. They are telling us this is what you're supposed to do. Miriam, and hypocritical is that these people, they have given 2 years to propose, to take their proposals, to take their memorandums to the steering committee. But they didn't do that. Therefore, what are they talking about consensus at this moment? And Miriam, there's no disagreement. And I like what Professor said yesterday. There's no conflict between the deputy president and the people who support the handshake. There was no fight. There's no conflict. These are just people who have their own reservations. Therefore, we cannot say that it is like we have an issue, a disagreement, or people who have been in a fight and they want they want a mediator to bring them together. No, these are people who just fought. They are following their own destination. And Miriam, we have different, even in families, we have siblings who follow different paths. And the parents cannot force them to do a certain course. They will follow what they want. They take their career path. And this is what's happening. The deputy president has taken his career path. He has taken his journey to where he is heading to, and he is heading to the 2022 campaign. And this other team is heading to a consensus and a reconciliation and a healing process to bring Kenyans together. How will these people agree when everybody holds on them? And Miriam, we have the head of state. And when you are elected president, you are given the mandate by the people of Kenya to translate such kind of issues and businesses on their behalf. And that is exactly what the president is doing. Mm-hmm. Therefore, Miriam, on the issue of consensus, they have come out now. They have changed they started with fighting the document. Now they have come to the consensus. Now they have moved from consensus to the fight against COVID-19. Therefore, these people at the end of the day, they are looking for any kind of anything to hold on and say, this is what is making us not support the BBI. This is what is affecting Kenyans. Miriam, you saw, they came a few months, they were talking of Hazorism, but the Hazorism has lost momentum. Now they have come with COVID-19, but they are the same people who have been breaking all the protocols and the guidelines to curb the disease. Therefore, these are hypocritical, and the BBI should not stop. Let them go to the ballot. If they oppose and they win, it's okay. If the other side wins, it's okay. That is what democracy dictates.
All right. Thank you. And from those new photos from that meeting you had yesterday there, we've seen Deputy President for the first time holding those meetings and having a mask on. Good job, sir. But still, that does not give you right to advise us on how to take care of COVID-19 when you have been on the forefront, you and other politicians, in the spread against COVID-19. But thank you for showing some leadership there. Keep having that mask on for your own good and for the good of the people who love you and support you, all right? So, however, Igara Kabaji opined that Ruto was only playing politics, that it was time he led the no camp and campaigned against the proposed referendum. He raised issues but did not offer solutions. BBI task force has been collecting views for 2 years. If he didn't present his views during the period, then you can see that he has no interest in the process at all. Professor Kabaji, who teaches at Musinda Muliro University of Science and Technology, said. And that is what we've all been saying here. You cannot come and want to change something that you really don't give a damn about. If you don't care about the process, you're not part of the process, and now you want to change the whole process. It doesn't make any sense. So as we conclude, Professor.
Simply what we are saying, some of the issues is raising, we don't want them. We cannot force them on us. So the best we can do is to go to the referendum and bring down what's being brought on the table, Miriam. Miriam, you can't wait for 32 months, 2 years down the lane. Then you come at the tip end to criticize what Kenyans have given. The only opportunity, the only democratic right he has, Miriam, is to go and vote for that document. No.
That's the only option.
And by that, we say that this document was passed without my input. Already, I have brought it down. And then we have Miriam, in 2005, the no side won. Did Kenya stop? We continue as for quest for the new constitution, Miriam. So Miriam, what we need to do, Miriam, we have got a country to unite. We need to heal. We need to give assurance to the people that, Miriam, this country is great. Miriam, at some point in time, Miriam, we will expire and check out. But this great nation will remain. So some of the things, Miriam, you know, sometimes we do things as if we are the last generation, which is living, Miriam. Who tells you, Miriam, what we are proposing today, the future generation in 10 years? Children who are 15 years, 14 years, who are 13 years, who are 12 years, who are 11 years, who are 10 years, who are 9 years, who are 8 years. 10 years from today, Miriam, they will have a say in this country. And they will say some of these things you are doing, they are not making sense to us. We want to change this and this. So that opportunity will always come. That opportunity will always come. And for heaven's sake, Miriam, I'm looking forward to see the deputy president becoming a president of this country and this deputy undermining him the way he's doing the president, and what that kind of scenario will be. But God forbid.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you, Karanja, there. So we shall take a break and be back here at the top of the hour at 11 a.m., where we shall be looking at the ongoing war in Mozambique. Is it a proxy war that is targeting its neighbors there? So we shall have that conversation together with our counterparts from outside of Kenya. So I hope that you can find time to join us then. This has been Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Mugutu. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good morning.